Picture this. You're deep in the zone on a massive refactoring session. Claude Code is silently loading dozens of files, spinning up subagents, and pulling your complex tool definitions into the context window on literally every single turn. It feels entirely seamless. Honestly, it feels like magic. But then the bill arrives. Welcome to this explainer where we are going to make sure your finance team is never, ever the first one to notice your AI spend. So here is the stark reality of how agentic systems operate under the hood. Those tokens, they accumulate silently, because on every single conversational turn, all of that context gets shoved right back into the window over and over again. This compounding cost goes completely unnoticed when you're in a developer flow state. So our mission today is to equip you with the exact observability stack you need to stay way ahead of that spend. Because here is the core danger we're trying to avoid. A single overnight agentic CI run can burn through hundreds of thousands of tokens before you even flip open your laptop the next morning. If you're relying solely on that 9 a.m. console report, you're not monitoring. You're just looking at yesterday's damage report. Real-time monitoring is absolutely crucial to catch these runaway sessions early, right while they are actively running and eating up tokens. Now, cost and token monitoring isn't just one magic toggle. It's actually a 5-layer stack. And as we move down this list from 1 to 5, we're scaling up in organizational complexity. We start right at the top with local fast gut checks using the CLI/cost and /usage commands. Next up is the console usage page. Then, for programmatic access, we drop down to the admin API. And finally, at the foundational level, we have OpenTelemetry, where setting just 3 little environment variables streams your token metrics directly into Prometheus, Grafana, or Datadog. Okay, we need to establish a very critical safety boundary right now. The Cloud Console is your authoritative billing source. That CLI/cost command I just mentioned, that's computed locally. It's super fast, sure, but it is just a rough approximation, and it doesn't even persist across your sessions. You should never, under any circumstances, use the CLI estimate for financial reconciliation. The console is the absolute source of truth that actually reflects your invoice. Let's actually walk through one practical example of how to use that authoritative source. Say you're managing API keys for 5 developers on a pay-as-you-go billing plan. It's the end of the month, and finance needs the costs grouped by project. It's actually super simple. You just log into the console with a developer, billing, or admin account, navigate to settings, then usage. Set your date range to the previous calendar month. From there, you can filter by a specific API key, or just leave it unset to see everything at once. Then hit export. And boom, what you get is this beautiful row-by-row CSV breakdown. It organizes everything per model, per day, per key. It even isolates your cache read tokens and cache creation tokens right alongside your standard input and output. You can drop this directly into a spreadsheet, group it by API key, and sum up the actual USD cost. Just like that, you have a perfectly accurate per-developer spend table to hand straight over to finance or to use yourself to confidently set per-key spending alerts. Let's rapid fire exactly when you should be deploying each tool in this stack. Use /cost for a quick mid-session gut check right before you ask Claude to refactor a massive multi-file module. Use /usage on a subscription plan to see your pro or max quota breakdown across skills and MCP servers. Lean on the console CSV for month-end reporting, budget forecasting, or internal chargebacks. You'll want to scale up to the admin API when you need daily automated reports across, say, 50 developers feeding directly into a BI tool. And OpenTelemetry, that is for your real-time alerts, because an overnight CI job that completely blows up your budget at 2 a.m. needs an immediate PagerDuty pane, not a polite little console report the next morning. So, why do we need all of these defensive layers in the first place? Well, it all comes down to context window bloat. This is the core fundamental risk of using agentic systems. It's the rapid cost explosion that happens when the system resends your entire conversation history, plus large files, plus diffs on every single new turn. Each new message literally costs more than the last one did. To combat this practically, run /cost periodically. Use the /compact command to summarize your history, and don't be afraid to use /clear to start totally fresh between unrelated tasks. Which brings us to our key takeaway for this explainer. Claude Code is an incredibly powerful agentic system, but token counts will grow faster than you think. Because of that, individual developers absolutely have to rely on the CLI/cost command for real-time gut checks. But your platform teams, they can't run on gut checks. Platform teams must utilize the platform-level controls, specifically leveraging the admin API's JSON pagination and OpenTelemetry streaming to monitor these metrics at scale and stop surprise spending before it even happens. Look, mastering these layers isn't really optional anymore. If you don't control your agent's context window, it is going to control your budget. So the question is, will your AI's autonomy outpace your observability, or are you ready to take control? To dive deeper, I highly recommend visiting claudemaster.net. You can access the full chapter there, complete with 3 fully worked examples and common pitfalls to avoid. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep building smart.